Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Ankerstar Wealth Morning Show. I'm your host, Allison Ankerstar, and today we'll be talking about yesterday's Chinese spy balloon shootdown and the impact on the stock market, when you are likely to get your tax forms, and your IRA strategy for 2023. But before we begin, as a reminder, this is a financial education presentation and should not be construed as personal financial advice. Full disclaimer information is available at ankerstarwealth.com. Good morning, Stephen. Air Force F-22 shot down the Chinese spy balloon yesterday. What happened, and what's your take on if this will affect the markets?
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a new week and talk about excitement and in my wheelhouse of expertise for having done this for years in the military. Super duper fighter jet went out and took down a defenseless balloon over the United States. I don't mean to make light of it, but it is kind of funny from a military achievement. You know, that's not the hardest problem to solve in the world. And, you know, of course, the political channels are going crazy with should we have shot it down earlier and oh my gosh, and all of that. But I won't get into the political side of it. I will say from the mathematics, there's several ways you could down a balloon using a fighter, and it was an AIM-9 missile off an F-22 that was actually done. And you know, fighters generally go up to that 50,000 feet or so. The F-22 can go above that. I don't know if that's, you know, I don't know if the exact number is classified anymore, so I'll just say it can go above 50. So it was able to go up and get it. There was some talk about, you know, hey, do you use a gun? Do you use a missile? The problem if you use a gun, I mean, obviously it's cheaper, right? Save taxpayers some money. So I think an AIM-9 is like 400,000 or something like that to bring down a balloon. But if you use the gun, you could poke holes in a balloon kind of, you know, possibly for a while. It doesn't necessarily, you know, pop like all the jokes are saying. You know, you might riddle this thing with bullets and then have it just, you know, still continue to fly in some manner, right? So anyhow, the thing's down. The fallout from it will be lasting all week long. But the question, and here's the actual, you know, NORAD. This is, you know, you could argue this was the end of air superiority, right? We have enemy craft flying over our country, unbeknownst or you know, told to the public anyway, and nobody doing anything about it for years. Obviously, I'm not dead, but if I were dead, I would be rolling around in my grave. Since I'm not dead, I'm just kind of laughing that really, did we lose air superiority to a spy balloon? Anyway, this is the congratulatory nonsense that made me get out of the military, is this fluffy statement from the general here of blah, blah, blah. Everybody did their part. Go team. I mean, oh my goodness, so proud of the professionalism displayed by every single person in the United States military. Again, not to make light of it, but just interesting that, you know, I left 10 years ago because kind of a lack of mission focus. And I don't know, didn't have any balloons flying over country in my day. That's all I'm saying. All right, so let's go and see how it's going to affect the markets. Well, the market's in the red, but I don't think it's because we're on the brink of World War III, right? Obviously, China tit for tat stuff like this can happen. I do not think it is a that's a heck of a headline there. Dell laying off 5% of its workforce. That's like 5 miles from here. I just saw that. But back to the balloon. World War III is not kicking off. You know, there's other. You know, if you don't mind the whole, they, you know, released COVID on us, maybe not as an act of war, but it did, you know, come from over there and shut our country down for some time and cause some things for us to be excited about, obviously. If we didn't really care about holding them accountable for that, who cares about a spy balloon, right? You know, you get more information from satellites. So I don't think that's what's moving the market today. What's really moving the market was what kind of a hangover, if you will, from last Friday, where we had the fantastic jobs number saying, hey, look how healthy we are. And then people are, you know, this headline right here, slide to start the week with more earnings and a Powell speech ahead. The Powell speech is tomorrow. It's not today, so you're not going to hear it today, but tomorrow he'll be speaking. If I can find it exactly who, I believe it's, let's see, the Economic Club of Washington. There it is, kind of in the middle, if you can see that highlight. So Powell speech tomorrow, you know, I'm not sure he's going to be definitive one way or the other, but certainly we get to hear more words. But overall, markets are in the red. I do expect them to stay red all day. I don't see a reason, no real reason for things to turn around.
Next, when can people expect to get their tax forms?
Where are my tax forms, Steve? These are rolling in, emails, text. I love it. I'm not complaining. I'm saying bring it on, right? And I will check if you ask me. I'll check for you, or you can log in, check check for yourself if you want. But I do want to, so when mid-February, right, for almost everybody. Now, if you have limited partnerships, if you have private equity stuff, if you have anything alternative, do not get in a hurry to do your taxes, because you may have tax forms rolling in, in middle to late March, and people get burned on that. But if your account's fairly straightforward, stocks, bonds, that sort of thing, as soon as you get your 1099-B, you are good to go. Remember, there aren't many forms associated for the IRAs that you need for filing your taxes, unless you did a Roth conversion that have 1099-R. So educate yourself a little bit. We're here to help, of course. Reach out to the team if you want. This is Schwab's site. Most of you are Schwab. There's still some TDA folks out here. These do have some nice little articles for things you should be thinking about if you want to do yourself. And it says, click here, find out when your 1090 forms will be available, and boom, it just takes you to the Schwab login page, which doesn't really get you much as far as information. But bottom line, even if you are just waiting for your tax form, you can put everything into TurboTax, kind of pre-populate that if you do it on your own. And then as soon as you get those, you can import them and you'll be ready to go. You have a pretty good idea of where you're at tax-wise, and then you can choose to pay now or get your refund now, or choose to pay or get your refund later. Right. So that's where we are on taxes. Thanks for your patience, but those forms are coming out.
Last, what should folks be thinking about for their 2023 IRA strategy?
Well, there's lots of things to think about. So first of all, you should wrap up 2022 first. So if you were maybe waiting to see how much your income was for 2022, then you need to go back and actually make 2022's contribution. We have a big spreadsheet that is it's a little bit on the back burner right now because we're redoing contracts, but within the next week or so, I should get to that. I'm going to go through every single person's account, look at their IRA situation for 2022, because we have until the 1st of April to, the 15th of April, I misspoke there, to be able to make those contributions for last year. Then break, right? 2023. A lot of us, we hit hard early January. Money was rolling in and right into the market. Turned out to be fantastic timing for those that were listening to the hey, let's get on the Roth IRAs for 2023 if you had that luxury. However, when you go to make your Roth, you have to obviously make a decision on whether you want traditional or Roth. Traditional, you pay your taxes later. Roth, you pay your taxes now, but then you're never taxed again. I can run the math for you. It's almost always a better bet to do the Roth IRA and just pay the extra taxes now. If you're in a super high tax bracket, I mean, like the highest, you could make an argument that that's not the best idea. But most of us don't have that problem. So, but the income limits have gone, the contribution limits have gone up last year. If you're below 50, it was 6,000. And above 50, it was 7,000. Now, 50 years of age, that is. Now it's 6,500. For those below 50, and 50 and older is 7,500. So that changes the math. So if you're on a monthly allotment, we've reached out to a lot of you so far to make sure we adjust those. But again, that's a constant thing we're going to be looking at here in February to make sure everybody's on the right path. So people always ask, do I put in monthly or do I put in at the beginning of the year? I generally say if you have it, put it in at the beginning of the year and then you're done with it. If you really super duper like feeding money into the market and dollar cost averaging, you can do a monthly amount. Now the numbers are a little harder to divide by 12, right? And you're a month in, so you got to divide it by 11 or wait till March, divide by 10. That's always easier. But just remember that if you're doing it annually, that's dollar cost averaging over an annual basis versus a monthly basis. So again, nothing magic about monthly. But if you do it every January, now not everybody can just cough up, it's $13,000 to $15,000 to feed their IRAs. But if you got it, get in early is my kind of take, if you will. Some other things to think about, make sure you put a beneficiary on it. You have to by law, and it's generally, especially in Texas, it has to be your spouse. Otherwise, they have to sign. Let's see, if you have a traditional IRA, you will face an RMD, required minimum distribution eventually, but they're kicking that out, right? Secure 2.0 took it all the way out to age 75 for the younger folks, phased in a different date there if you're a little bit older. Roth IRA, hey man, once you pay it, you're in and you're good. This is the gotcha line right here. If you're single out there, To make a full Roth IRA contribution, you have to be below 138K for your income. And if you are married, it's 218 jointly. So if you're going to trip those, then you can consider a backdoor Roth IRA. Topic for another day because it takes a while to explain. It's easy, but takes a while to explain. But yeah, if you're pushing these limits or you're in the ballpark of these limits, either wait or call us and we can talk about your options there. All right, start early. Don't wait till tax day. Yeah, if you give me this on April 14th, yeah, that's going to be a nightmare, right? So make your decisions now, please. We'll be hitting these again before tax date. And again, that's for last year. All right. And converting. If you have an IRA, you can convert it at any point in time to a Roth IRA. You generally want to do that when the market's lower than higher. So some of you did at the beginning of the year, and that turned out to be fantastic timing. I would still say that right now, I consider that we finished 2023 not only higher, but quite a bit higher than we are here in the market. So that would make now a good time. That is that's my assessment. I don't have a crystal ball telling me that. But if you want to make it, generally a lot of folks will wait till the end of the year to make it. I would say this would be the year you'd want to bring that forward. So something for you to consider out there.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Please submit your questions as a comment through social media or directly to our email at vipservices@ankerstarwealth.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get daily updates. That's all we have for today's show. I'm Allison Ankerstar. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Oh.